I just got home from the first regional championship of the 2026 season that happened in Monterrey, Mexico, where I finished 13th place with a Terabox list. But my same 60 also finished in top four and top eight. We had three players compete with the list and compete very, very well. Today, I'm going to talk about my deck profile, kind of like a little bit of context behind some of the card choices. We're going to talk about my matchups in depth, like I always do, and I'm going to leave a link in the description and the comments. I'll just pin it there to my guide that I'll be updating as soon as tomorrow. So by the time you see this, in about 12 hours from now, the guide will be updated with all the information from this past weekend about Terabox and how you should think about it moving into the future. So if you guys like that, my name is Rahul. Please like and subscribe, and we're going to jump right into the video. So here's a Terabox list I played. If you guys have been a part of this channel before and I kind of know my playstyle and my deck choices, this is pretty per the course. You guys know that I love CC Briar. Having those late game combo pieces to kind of just make sure you have like outs in some of the weirder decks and weirder matchups is something that I really enjoy having, especially Goldengo and Raging Bolt. If they have some weirder cards to deal with your deck, like Slitherwing and stuff like that, you can always kind of check them there. Now, some of the more intriguing additions to my list that I didn't actually talk about that I was not liberty to do because there's like I knew these came about last minute is that there is a copy of Iron Leaves EX in the deck. The idea of Iron Leaves is that it gives you an actual attacker into both Grimmsnarl and Charizard. If you prize more than one grass, it is a little bit of a problem. If you prize one grass, it is still a little bit of a problem. But you have the Iron Leaves with the Prism Edge attack and the Rapid Vernier ability. And also in the Gardevoir matchup, it's a pretty cool thing to slap onto the board to get around the confusion of Monkey Dory, because let's just say you have a really good start against Gardevoir and blow up their board. One of the ways they can get back into the game is to use Monkey Dory to attack into your um, Water Ogerpon with the Crystal to make it so you don't have a really good attack on the next turn. That's a clean attack. If you have to take one prize again and they find Candy Guardian on that turn, it gets really awkward. So maybe that turn you can find Iron Leaves, Iron Bundle, go around the Monkey Dory, take the Monkey Dory off the board, and take the Ralts off the board at the same time. And then you go down to two prize cards, and the game gets really easy to close out. And now there's no copies of Iono in the deck because um, the Briar kind of fulfills the same purpose, and I definitely did miss Iono this week, and I'll talk about it a little bit. But I felt like the Briar fulfills the same purpose, so I was like, why am I playing this card? I don't really need it. I cut a copy of the E-Switch for the Area Zero Underdepths. This is one of the things where it's like list knowledge. If people know I only play white E-Switch, then they can play around that. No one knew that this weekend, so it was one of those things where I could get away with it. However, I think that is incorrect moving forward, and I think putting the second E-Switch back is really important because there's a lot of games where I had to play really, really weirdly because I did prize the second E-Switch or the one E-Switch, or I had to discard the E-Switch early. And it made my games really difficult to close out, actually, in a lot of situations. So I think that was a bad change on my part. And then there was a copy of Buddy Buddy Poffin to increase my odds. And just mid game, sometimes you want to go knocked out and you only need one thing like Crispin. And then you can go get Poffin in that situation. There's Poffin out two Hoot Hoots. Now your board is like really, really good. Which like the idea was that is really good. And I really liked it. But like, yeah, the Leaves bad. Second E switch needed. Poffin good. Third Stadium good. Briar good. I did miss Iono though. And then finally, I think the two Lightning and the three Grass were pretty interchangeable. It didn't really feel crazy. The idea was just that you have a lot of Pikachu attacker to do Pikachu things multiple times, and you have the water or the lightning also for Crown Opal if you need it. So it's like one of those just insurance policies, but not having a lot of grass has actually hurt me a couple times throughout the tournament. I'll talk about that as well. Obviously the grass is better if you're expecting Dengos and stuff like that, and then or sorry, the lightning, and then the grass is better if you're expecting Grims and Charizards and stuff. But Grim and Charizard are both decks on the decline. Dengo's probably back on the rise after this weekend's Gardevoir success. So let's jump into the deck profile or the tournament report. So off rip, round one, I sit down and lo and behold, I hit this individual. You guys might have heard of him before, Brent Tonneson. Now, Brent is probably that was the number one player last season, and he's one of the best players in the game. Brent is sporting just a normal Dragonpult Dusknoir deck, nothing crazy, like really nothing to write home about. Pretty normal across the board. Game one, Brent ends up attacking with Dragonpult in a situation where if I have Clefairy plus Crispin, the game is literally just over. And all I need is a knockdown to make that happen. And I think I owned me to like three, I want to say. And I had Mew draw as well. But the three cards he owned me into were completely dead, and the card I drew was completely dead. So I missed the Clefairy that turn, and he's able to attack. But he missed an energy that turn. So if I'm able to go once again Clefairy, I can win the game, and I once again whiffed, and the game ends. Game two, I end up just like stomping Brent. Game three, we're in a really weird and awkward situation where I open. I saw his Blood Moon Ursaluna that he opened, but I don't open a Fan Rotom. So I have no like good opening hand. He is struggling. I have a raw Crispin in hand, so I end up pumping and taking out the one Dreepy that he put on board. He went first, so he made it a Dracloak. So take the Dracloak off the board, and then we end up in this like really weird stalemate. And this is like a really weird situation where now he's at three. I've pumped the Ursaluna. to put damage on it too as well. Well, the damage is already there, sorry, from the pump and the sob. And so now I'm at a board set where he's at 3, and he comes up with his first attacker, which is the Blood Moon Ursaluna. I'm at 3, he's at 4 now because of the Ursaluna attack. And if I Terapagos attack this turn, the game is effectively over because he can't do anything with the remainder of his board. If I Terapagos attack, I can put a bear on my board. I can put something else on my board and make my board kind of unbreakable. And in this spot, I end up um, prizing the E-Switch, so I have to sob. And because I have to sob, he gets another attachment onto his board, or his first attachment onto a Dracloak. This game, he gets to finally evolve up his GPs up into Dracloaks, which would not have been possible if I just knock out this Ursaluna, because then he has no actual attacker on the following turn that he can produce. And then the Ursaluna gets stuck for a turn because I had to sob it. And the following turn, I can go ahead and attack it with Terapagos, which is what I do. But then I get Iona to 1. He puts a Monkey Dory into play. And then, oh no, he had a Monkey Dory in play already, sorry. But he Monkey Dories the damage onto my active, pops my Terapagos, and pops my Hoot Hoot, putting himself to 2. But with a bundle, I win the game no matter what. And I have 12-ish cards at the top of my deck. There's a Boss, there's a Crispin. A Boss also wins me a game because I had Bear on, or I had energy on something that could attack and just take something off the board. So I had a Boss. I had a Crispin that I could hit. I could hit I couldn't hit Noxel pieces anymore. My Fez was in the discard. Mew was not. Mew was on board. I could hit Stretcher for the bundle. So I had 3, or I could hit like a Raw Energy or something. It was something just like a Raw Energy, yeah. To hit those pieces, I draw my card. It's like the leaves. Not the leaves. It's like I draw my card. It's the Briar. I'm like sick. This would have been the Iono. I draw my second card. It's like a dead card. I draw my 1 card off Mew. It's a dead card. And then the next card was game. So I shouldn't have looked. Then I end up losing to Brett. So I start 0-1. Second round, I hit Samuel Martino. Sam is playing Eevees. Both games, I have really nothing to report from this one. Sam just did not set up. Both games, he missed Fan Rotom turn 1. And when you do that, he got to go first. But when you do that against Terabox, like, you're already at a disadvantage. Now, the Briar, this is like a matchup where Briar actually is like really useful. If I can put myself in a spot where I can like make him play into Briar a lot of the time. But I'm also obviously trying to play around his Briar simultaneously. But he has no actual way to get around Pikachu. The idea is that I would do it, and I would like Pika a certain turn. He'd probably Fan Rotom me, and then at that turn I would probably pump. And then if I pump that turn, the game pretty much ends because I go down to 2. And then Ursaluna can always clean up because, as you know, Terabox decks need to have the Fez in play, need to have this, like, you need to have this Fez, you probably need to have Mew, you probably need to have Latias in play. So this deck isn't like the most versatile at dealing with this. So unfortunately for Sam, he double bricked against me and then he just lost. Now this is my round 3. This is my round 3 matchup, and I want you guys to like look at the absurdity of what the deck is that I hit. I hit a deck with 3 Team Rocket's Watchtower in it. Not 1, not 2, but 3. And it has Team Rocket's Venture Bomb as well. So I can't Pikachu this guy's Arcaludon. I can't use my Fan Rotom because of Team Rocket's Watchtower. I lost this game in 5 minutes. I couldn't do anything. I think I took 1 knockout and it was like on a Monkey Dory, if that. And I was just like baffled at the idea, like what was happening in front of me. And I was like so sad. I was so sad when I lost this game because I was like, I got Team Rocket's Watchtower out of the game. Like, I literally could not play the game. And my opponent's even playing a full grip of Research, not a full grip of Carmine. Like, he is just big balling. He's got a Squawk in his deck. So he's saying, I'm going to Squawk first and then hit my Stadium, which is actually exactly what he did to me. And then he botted me in about 5 minutes. So I lost this one very quickly. I don't think you could have picked a worse deck for me to hit in the room, which is really awesome. That's cool. And then round after at 1-2, I hit Jorge, who was playing Zoroark. And fortunately for me, Zoroark is like a very good matchup. I went in game 1. I went first. I got the pump turn 2. I pumped his board. And then he just lost from there because I was able to go leaves into just like a normal attack and end the game. Game 2, he opened Toad's School, went for the just put Ogerpon down and Turbo Energize Cornerstone. I used the Water Ogerpon to do the 100 and not shuffle. He pushed up the Cornerstone. He attacked for 140, and then I just had the Owls in hand to go Terapagos KO. So he did tell me he forgot about Terapagos being able to attack through this, but even if not, I had the Water Ogerpon hit for 100 that turn, and then I could just bench Mew and Crispin 2 at that turn. So Mew can also clean up the game, and I just win. There's like a lot of outs I had. Like, the matchup was really, really good for me. The next round I hit Jose, who was playing Dragonpult Dusknoir, and both games kind of came down to the exact same way, where like I got like a super early good lead. Both games he took second from me, which is interesting because he should take first from me, I think, in some positions. Only 3 Iono is really interesting. I didn't know that about his list until I'm looking at it right now. Shout out to Labs. It's actually a very useful feature to look at this and talk about my games. I did almost get spooked by the candy in game 2, where he went evolve his Dusclops to Dusknoir, pop kill one of my Hoot Hoots, Stretcher, Candy, Dusknoir, pop one of my Hoot Hoots, um, Ursaluna, push it to the active, Iono me to 1, I think, and then Ursaluna knock out my Clefairy that I just attacked with. So I could have lost, but because I had pumped and like Clefairy his or I didn't pump, I think. I just Clefairy'd and like took a knockout with Fan Arm or something. But his board was like so bad that it didn't matter, and I ended up winning because of that. I just had like infinite time, and I think I could have just like I think I just like set up a pump to end the game on the bench. And then now I hit Johnny, a good friend of mine, one of Keon's NorCal locals, really cool guy, really fun dude to talk to. Unfortunately, we've hit in this very important round. The first game was pretty much just like very favored for me from the get go. I think there was like not a lot I ever missed in any situation, which is like unfortunate for Johnny because I do have the CC Briar as well. He never had an opportunity to judge me because I do put a lot of pressure on in every situation. Um, the second game was a little bit weird where like my start was really suboptimal and Johnny's was actually pretty good. And we end up in like a really weird spot where like I have to like sob his Fez. He burns Prime Catcher like pretty aggressively on something. And so then I bring up the Fez and I start sobbing it. And I start Turo checking him. Because game one, there was a spot where he could have Turoed and he didn't. So I was thinking maybe, okay, he might not have it. Oh yeah, game one, he also missed Fan Rotom. Game two, he had Fan Rotom and actual resources. Um, and so he did find the Turo and pick up the Fez. And then he knocked me out to go down to 1 prize card. Then in that situation, because I don't have Iono or anything, it's like really sucked to not have Iono. I could have just gone Iono earlier and like CC killed his Fez, which would have been just like perfectly fine, I think. And then I would have put him in a really rough spot. But then I had to go Noctowl for Stretcher CC, bring up the Hoot Noctowl and start sobbing it. And he had like 9 cards in deck. He and most energies were already actually on the board. And so he attached to Noctowl. When I drew Sob, he attached to Noctowl Speedwinged. I went Noctowl for boss up into another one. Sob, he went boss up my Noctowl. I went attach retreat. He went boss up my Noctowl again. I went attach retreat, and then the game was over. So I played a very dishonest strategy there to use Sob to win, but alternate win conditions are a part of this deck. So I move on to 4-2 now. At round 7, I played against Edgar, who is playing Grimmsnarl. Game 1, I end up actually losing because my start's actually really weak. Game 1, and I end up just getting overwhelmed by his 3-3 Frostlass. I actually didn't know he played 3-3. So he, instead of actually setting up a Grim super early on, he went TM Evo and went into double Frostlass. But he only set up 1 Grimmsnarl, which would have punished him in like 99% of situations. However, I prized double Grass, and I did not take it off my first knockout, which I took for 1, because he opened Monkey Dory as well. So I pumped and like took Impotent off the board. Um, I prized Bundle and double Grass, which was really unfortunate. So I couldn't leaves him that turn. If I can leaves him that turn, I can just like get really far ahead. Because he doesn't have a Grimmsnarl, and now his like Frostlasses are just killing his monkeys on board. So even though I probably die in 2 turns on board, I can just pump the next turn, take out both Frostlasses, and the game is like super fine for me from that spot on. So really unfortunate that I lost game 1. Game 2, I basically just like go crazy on it, and like I'm like just doing a ton of damage and just going nuts. Game 3, he opens Maractus, which is like now my first time seeing the Maractus. I open Fan Rotom. I fan call. Ditto is or no, I don't have a way to go into Ditto. So I just get the guys. I think I like Nest Ball preemptively for the Water Ogre Pawn. He draws, he like Maractuses me, sets up his board. I go draw, attach, I Crispin, and then I attack with Fan Rotom. Because he put, I think, Spike Myth in play for me. And then I do the same thing the next turn, and we both knock each other out. Then he pushes up Grim, I push up Noctowl. He knocks out my Noctowl that I used. Then I go Noctowl into new leaves, knock out the leaves with leaves, and like he doesn't have another Grimmsnarl he can produce that turn. He has like an Impotent, but he's down his candy. So he's actually in a bad spot now. And then he goes, I should be at 1 less prize. And I was like, oh shit, like I didn't realize he should also be at 1 less prize. My opponent was also, I think, fairly new. He was like very only spoke Spanish. We were talking during the game as well about how like because I like kept reaching over to like fix his damage because he just wasn't doing his own damage on his turn. And so I was like pretty distracted during the game because he kept forgetting to do his damage. He kept forgetting about my damage. And he like kept forgetting to like draw for like he was doing a lot of stuff that was like very fairly new player oriented. And so I was like doing all of that. And so in that commotion, I forgot that he did not take a prize card in that situation. And it didn't come up because he didn't need to use CC or anything in that spot. And so he called a judge on himself. I told him to just take the prize and throw it to the bottom. He called a judge on himself. And then in that spot, they called over the judge. And the judge basically said it was an irreversible game state because he did use Iono. And then he used like Spike Myth and stuff. And then he did like research and like do all this stuff. So like there's a chance that the card that he drew changed the outcome of the game. But then to make him feel better as well, I showed him my hand. I did have to pump knock out the lone Impidimp the following turn. And so once I do that, it's just like game over basically. Like he can't really come back from like the one Impidimp going down, and then the game would be over. So I moved to 5-2. Now I'm on a win in to, or I'm on a tie in into day two. Now a lot of people did tie to advance to day two. Um, but the thing is, a lot of people at the X2 on record did not actually make ASIM. No one did at this tournament. I think in Frankfurt they did, but you still have to keep in mind it's a steep run you have to accomplish. So IDing, if that is your goal to win the tournament, is probably not the best strategy still. If you want to make some cash, maybe make some points and get some boxes, sure, go for it and do your thing, but don't ever be upset if a player says no that they want ID. Like, right, like you're allowed to be frustrated, but don't ever be frustrated at the player across the table from you, and don't make it awkward. That's like the 1-2 cents I have. So I had Daiki, a player who I began talking to. He said that he moved, him and his family moved from Japan to Mexico a couple years back, and this is like first time being in a position where he can make day two, and he's asking if we want ID. We're getting deck checked. I declined the ID politely. I said it's time to. I think we should play. He actually hitting 4 bolts is crazy next day, but I told him I would like to play. I think it's I want to win the tournament. He was like, I understand. He flipped over Shaman immediately, frame one, as soon as we got our decks back after like an 8-minute deck check. And in my mind, I was like, dude, I made a gigantic mistake. This guy's gonna farm me, and I'm gonna get knocked out of day two. I earned it. I deserve this. This is entirely my fault. And now looking at its list, I have no idea how he fit all these cards, but holy schmoly, he had everything. So game one, he goes first. He makes me go first. I have like a pretty good start, but he opens Shaman, which is like really frustrating. He goes double Poffin, Arven for Secret Box, puts it in his hand, and I'm just like, he just opened double Poffin. And then I like would have loved to Iono this turn, and because I could have gone, I had attachment on turn one, so I could have gone Noctowl Crystal, Vessel, and then Iono or something. Like I could have blown both Noctowls and just like gotten in there and killed the Shaman and hoped that he bricks off the back of that. Doesn't happen. I killed the Shaman with the pump. Don't shuffle. He goes bench Fez, Candy Pidgeot, Candy Zard. Um, yeah, super bad for me. Benches Duskull as well. Knocks out my active. I go leaves, kill the active. He goes second Charizard, powers up Chiyu, kills my leaves. Um, the game ends. Game two, I get the turn two pump going first. He doesn't get Shaman down. His start is like a little bit worse. I end up pumping his Charmander and Pidgey with the bundle. So his now lone opener is Duskull. He now goes and gets Shaman, um, and basically gets a setup going. He retreats with the air balloon into the Shaman. He's able to Evo up his Pidgeotto and Charmeleon. I don't have a great response, so I just go Crispin, pump the Shaman off the board. He then goes into Zard. He CCs up my Fez that's on the board. He kills the Fez. I go into leaves that turn, and I bench a bear. And I think I go into leaves that turn. I pop the Charizard that turn. And then he does his turn and takes a knockout on the leaves. And then I had bundle to get around the Zard. He pushes up Pidgeot. I sobbed the Pidgeot for a turn. If I had E-Switch here, I actually probably could have pulled off Pikachu, given that he did not disrupt me this turn. And then I sob it. He Turos it up. No, sorry, I didn't sob it. I think I just drew like into Noctowl or something for the boss, and he like had like a Cleffa or something on the board, like a one prizer that he shouldn't have had there, and I just like killed it with Fan Rotom to end the game. And then so shuffling up for game three, there's like 12-ish minutes on the clock. He's definitely like very nervous. I'm very nervous too because like this matchup is terrible for me. He gets to go first, and so I offered the ID. I said, "Hey, Daiki, I know you offered the ID early in the series, not like a BM thing, but would you like to intentionally draw and move on to day two?" He happily accepted, and we moved on to day two. In a sense, I kind of free rolled that because that matchup is terrible for me. And like I know you guys may be thinking in the comments like you should just lost like a man. Yeah, you know what? Being in day two is better than do nothing. Yeah, so I took what I could and I took the coward's way out. So I'm in day two. Day two, I hit I'll play from Brazil. I don't know how to say his name. I'm not gonna try it. But this player was super nice, super friendly. If anyone knows how to pronounce this, I would love to know. This is actually very fascinating. How many vowels there are? Or sorry, yeah, vowels there are in this name. But anyway, game starts. He immediately flips over gets a Shaman out of his deck, and I'm like, oh, awesome. And I'm like, dude, my tournament is over. At this point, I think I can still cut with ASIM. And so then basically, the game comes down to the point where he gets to 2 prize cards. I'm at 3 prize cards. And at this point, he attacks with Lily's Clefairy. And I actually Teal Dance. I had an energy on my Teal Mask. I Teal Dance, attached the grass, and I Briar to pop it. And he was like in shock, I think, that I did that. But I had pumped earlier in the game. I put damage on the Fez, and I did it twice because he charmed it and moved damage off it. So I could have pumped with if he was like he like said like what if I scream tailed? And I was like I could just pump and take 3 that turn anyway. Even through the shaman. And then game 2, I like have a really hot start. He has a really bad start. So I go down to 1 prize card while he's still at 6. And when I go to 1 is when he gets his first Guardy into play that turn. Um and he Ionos me to 1 and I'm a high rolling pig. So my 1 card is a boss and my draw for turn is a nest ball. Or not nest ball, is a bear. I just look at the 2 cards and I just sit there and I keep like pushing up targets to get knocked out. Um, and then he has to eventually go to 2 prize cards, and I drew into an energy at some point as well. So I go bear, attach, boss, and just take a prize on something, and the game ends. He did smart and not bench anything that I could like fan rotom KO, which was really important because if he did give me something at fan rotom KO, the game would have ended much quicker. But he did not. He like just kept attacking with Guardy. He like made like 2 monkeys on the bench, and then he like went into like Clefairy or something at some point. But like the monkeys were like losing the game anyway. So um it was like a really close set, and I'm actually like very like fortunate I won that one. Next round I hit Destin, who was playing Goldengo. Game 1, I just have like the most perfectly optimal start. I like pump the board. I'm just off to the races. Destin can't do anything. Game 2, I get put in a spot where I have to pump the monkey and the Togepi to take it off the board. I don't want to give Destin damage, but I have to. And then he's able to knock out my he goes CC knock out my Fez. I stretch the Fez back, draw a bajillion cards. Um, I go into Pikachu, pop the Goldengo, go to 3. He's at 4. He is the Monkey Dory damage that I gave him, unfortunately. He's able to pop my Pikachu. No, he doesn't even pop Pikachu, I'm pretty sure. He like gusts something else up, scrappers my Pikachu, and then um takes a knockout. And then I have an energy on my Teal Mask already. So I'm able to go push up Pika, E-switch, attach, um what did I do? I didn't do E-switch attach. It's not Crispin. No, I just pushed up Terapagos. I went into Terapagos, E-switch into Terapagos, attached to Terapagos, CC Briar, and then I won on the Fez. So that was actually a game I could possibly lose. Because of the board state and the fact that I had to give monkey damage. I normally wouldn't give the monkey damage, but I had to take the Togepi off the board, I felt like. And my start was kind of bad. So yeah. Unfortunate for Destin, but I am able to take that one. And then I go up against Murat, who's playing Guardy. He's got a very interesting build of Guardy. He's got the Dunsparce in here. But I'm trying to figure out what he doesn't play, and I figured out pretty early on it's only 1 candy in the deck. Um, and someone did tell me that who played him earlier in the day that he did have a boss's orders. I also kept that in the back of my mind. But I knew he had everything else in the deck. I just didn't know what his candy count was, and I was like, if you're playing boss and CC, and I saw 2 charms pretty early on in game 1, and I saw 2 Poffins early on in game 1. So at that point, I like surmised that he probably only plays 1 candy, and probably no Devo, which doesn't matter for me. But yeah. Um. Anyway, game 1, I like have a really bad start, and I feel like I'm gonna concede pretty early. I end up pumping. He doesn't kill that. He like goes around. I think he like monkey dories me that turn because he ends up missing Candy Guardy. Because I pumped the Curlia, and I'm like, okay, maybe he only plays 1 candy, and so then I'm able to go Iron Leaves this game, and then also bundle in the same turn and pump once again and take 2 more prize cards. So now I'm down to 2, and then Murat like does a bunch of stuff, gets to a decent board position, and then I'm able to close out the game with Bear on his Fez. Game 2, we he has like a really rough start, and I'm just kind of like going through his board pretty aggressively, and then he ends up going down to 2 while I'm at 2. um and he's attacking with like Drifloon because time is like about to get called, and time gets called as like he finishes attacking with Drifloon, so I draw for turn, so I'm technically 0 with 2 on prize cards. But like I have like he like had to discard like 2 Ionos to play the game to start the game, and then he like secret boxed away an Iono, and then he played 2 Ionos right throughout the game. So like he was out of all of his Ionos, so I just kept my hand knowing that we would get to this board state. Um, and he like knocked out all my like Noctowls, like they were all off the board because of Monkey Dories. And so he like Driflooned my or I had to use them, sorry. He Driflooned my Fez that turn, and knocked it out. So I'm now put in a position where I only have 2 to 2 prize cards, and I have to like end the game this turn. I just push up the water Ogerpon, I attach the water, and I Briared. And I just sobbed for the game. So Briar comes in clutch once again. Um, I could not have bossed and attacked, so that was really useful. And being turn 0, I guess I could have sobbed something to guarantee that I go 1-0, which like definitely is probably a possibility as well there. Um, yeah, but I don't like 1-0ing. I just want to win 2 games. Then I go against Irving, who is playing Dragonpult Dusknoir, and both these games I really have nothing to write home about because like Irving starts were bad both games. I was able to just basically go pump, pump, and the game ended. I don't think Irving actually attacked with Dragonpult besides maybe once. I think like Bear maybe came into play, but every single time I just like had every perfect answer, and this is like probably some of the best like draws I had all day during the tournament. On my final round, I go up against Fernando Cifuentes, our world champion of Hawaii. And Fernando is playing Raging Bolt, and this matchup is like really, really favored for me. And I didn't know if he played Disruption or not, but game one, I got to a board state where like if he didn't play Judge that turn, I like basically just like locked him out of the game. And I realized that he didn't. He missed Phantom turn one also. And this list is crazy looking at it. 4 Crispin, 4 Sada, like Chen Pao, 3/3 Noctowl. Like this is a crazy list. 2 Baby Bolt. Like he almost built a 1 prize board at the very end of the game at the end of game one. But he needed to like put Teal Masks into play to find the Prime Catcher. Um, and because he had to do that, I was able to just guarantee game. And then game two, I got to a position where like I had a pretty like undeniable board state that he couldn't really answer. And in that position, like he just conceded the game because he knew I played CC Briar and stuff. So a lot of class out of Fernando. I really enjoyed playing him for the first time. Starting 0-2 is also crazy. Like he lost to Palafin and Ethan Typhlosion, and then he ran it back from 0-2 all the way up to me just to lose. And then neither of us cut, so it didn't matter. Like we wouldn't have cut either way. But it was a phenomenal time being able to play against him. Truly an honor, and that is my full report. If you guys enjoyed that, let me know. Like, subscribe. Hopefully, you guys can keep supporting me. That has put me 200 points onto the board. I have it updated here. I put 1,000 here as like you guys can see the spreadsheet, whatever. I'll show the spreadsheet in a different video. But this is all here. Guide will be in the comments. I will have that posted now, but I'll have it updated in like 12 to 24 hours. So thank you guys for watching, and peace out.